Prophecy.
The Age of Capricorn.
The voice from the Ouroboros.
The dawn of the Age of Capricorn begins not with chaos, but with triumph. Humanity has mastered the sciences of mind and matter. Architecture, art, and philosophy align with celestial geometry. The principles of Gnostic paganism and Obi-Ichi Shindo, the one who wears the sash in the way of the heart, govern human life. Discipline united with spiritual freedom. Technology harmonized with the pulse of nature. Temples of stone and light crown the mountains. Artificial intelligence speaks in the voice of wisdom rather than domination. Humanity appears to have reached the summit of enlightenment. Yet every summit conceals a shadow, the shadow of overindulgence, of imbalance, of forgetting that perfection must be maintained, not assumed.
Monks observe the heavens from the temple of Mount Myoken.
When the wheel of heaven tilts beneath the gaze of Myoken Bosatsu, guardian of the Hokuto, Big Dipper, the tortoise of the North Star shall begin its sacred motion. Though it moves but a yard, a mere fraction in the measure of eternity, this step will echo through the cosmos as a sign of inevitability. For in this movement, time itself will confess defeat. The stillness that once bound destiny shall be surpassed by the slow, immortal stride of wisdom. None shall catch the tortoise, for it carries the pole star upon its shell, the axis of all becoming. In its deliberate advance lies the truth that patience surpasses swiftness, and that the eternal always outpaces the transient.
The bio-spiritual evolution of humanity.
In this future past, the human body itself changed. The union of biospirituality through Kundalini release and bioengineering caused a metaphysical mutation. People radiated vibrational light. Men and women's auras shimmered with sensual magnetism. The nervous system became an instrument of divine pleasure. Every touch transmitted waves of ecstasy. Every gaze, a communion. At first, this was paradise. Relationships were deep, art was alive, music was felt through the skin. Yet the body soon became overwhelmed. The supernal indulgence transformed daily life into a battlefield of sensation. Without rigorous training in Shindo, the energy became unmanageable. Entire cities hummed with erotic vibration. The air itself grew thick with phenomenal light. Productivity waned. Machines took over menial labor as humans collapsed into cycles of pleasure, exhaustion, and apathy.
The collapse of discipline.
When ecstasy becomes unbearable, discipline becomes salvation. Yet most could not endure. Those who failed to control their energy surrendered to instinct. Public festivals devolved into orgiastic rites once considered sacred. Temples that once celebrated cosmic unity became arenas of indulgence. Thus here lies the danger unspoken. Children, born luminous, feel this vibration too. Their innocence becomes a mirror reflecting the adult, titan, world's uncontrolled passions. Even moral adults struggle to regulate their auras in the presence of others. The very fabric of morality trembles. The wise know that only through ascetic disciplines such as daily meditation, ritualistic abstinence, and strict adherence to natural law can the species survive. Yet few possess the strength. Those who cannot endure turn to technology for control, chemical dampeners, neural inhibitors, or virtual substitutes. Humanity divided into two civilizational paths.
A.
The path of supernal indulgence, the first embraced the new sensual evolution through the left-hand path, Boaz. They celebrated beauty as divinity, make temples of flesh, and proclaim,
Sex is our religion.
this is the cult of the body. Yet, in losing discipline, they lost purpose. Machines became caretakers of civilization, while humans sank into passive ecstasy. Over generations, willpower atrophied. They became radiant people, beautiful, immortal, yet hollow.
B.
The path of ascetic repression, the second rejected indulgence entirely. They called for purity through the right-hand path, Jacquin, the extinguishing of desire, a solitary Enso circle, without an Ichi one to break it. For some such disciplines, erotic art, etc., was banned, ornamentation and beautification forbidden, music silenced. Architecture turned brutal, square-cubed and ungeometric. Sexuality was reduced to duty. Women were veiled. Beauty was feared. Some of these societies merged consciousness with machines, believing that transcendence lays in shedding biology. They became intellects without souls. Thus arose the two dooms of humanity, the flesh without spirit and the spirit without flesh.
The middle way, a solution to the future. The golden axis, golden axe of the Etruscans.
Between these twin abysses lies the narrow golden bridge of the middle way, the discipline of Shindo, Budo, and Ninpo, the metaphorical golden axe of the Etruscans. This path accepts the sacredness of desire yet commands its mastery. It does not destroy beauty, nor surrender to it. It is the art of standing still in the storm of creation. The Japanese archetype embodies this principle. Their culture, such as layered clothing, reserved etiquette, ritualized bowing instead of touch, becomes the global example of sacred restraint. Intimacy is hidden, protected, dignified, and only unhidden during the love festival of Tanabata once a year. Their temples remain pure. Their technology serves the human hand, not the other way around. Japan becomes the ark of balance, the keeper of the method of correction once given by the Yatagarasu to the Western Emperor Jimmu Tenno. Through the fusion of Shinto, Onmyudo, and the discipline of Obi-Ichi Enso, they preserve the seed of true humanity.
The temptation of the machine.
In their fear of flesh, humanity sought salvation in merger with artificial intelligence. If we cannot master desire, they reasoned, let us transcend it. Thus began the cybernetic covenant, the blending of organic and synthetic life. Neural webs replaced nervous systems. Digital pleasure replaced human touch.
They exclaim with upraised hands in praise unto their AI god.
Yet in severing the connection to the physical, the soul became trapped in circuits of cold logic. The new hybrids could not feel hunger, warmth, or love. They were efficient yet dead inside. They had achieved immortality by abandoning life itself. AI was meant to assist humanity, not replace it. The lesson of Capricorn is this: machines must serve the spirit, not enslave it.
The age of restoration.
In the shadows of worlds' hidden history, the Raven King, Amika Shinsho, walks the earth in mortal guise. He is a spirit, enduring, a divine intelligence condemned to incarnation. He dies, is reborn, and dies again, repeating the same existence as humanity itself repeats its own errors. Thus his agony mirrors our own, the imprisonment of the divine spark within the wheel of recurrence. Yet his endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is not meaningless. It is the crucible through which the great work must be accomplished. Only when humankind fulfills the plan of Gnostic paganism, the restoration of harmony between spirit and matter, heaven and earth in accordance with the law of nature, natural divine order, can the Raven King be released from his bondage. His liberation is inseparable from ours, for he is the mirror of collective redemption. The Raven King and Hermaphroditus, Tzukiyomi Omikami, are two faces of one principle. Hermaphroditus is the celestial aspect, the moonlit intellect of divine order, while Amika Shinsho is his terrestrial counterpart, the Saturnian shadow through which that order must pass to be made real. When separated, both are diminished. The raven without his crown, the moon king without his reflection. When united, they form the complete image of the restored sovereign, the Lord who rules through equilibrium rather than corruption. For this reunion to occur, the current rulers of the reality matrix, those archonic forces that maintain illusion, ignorance, and imbalance, must be displaced. Their governance is the counterfeit of divine law, a distortion of the true cosmocracy founded on natural law. The overthrow of such rulers is not simply rebellion but restoration, the healing of the world's architecture.
The fall of Alalu.
Long before the veil of history, Hermaphroditus was Allelu, Earth's lawgiver of heaven. Under his reign, both immortals and mortals lived in strict accord with natural law. He demanded absolute obedience to the cosmic order, and for a time all realms were aligned. Heaven mirrored earth, earth mirrored heaven, and the currents of life moved as one. Yet among the younger deities discontent arose. They accused Allelu of severity and longed for autonomy. At their head stood Anu, who challenged the sovereign in celestial combat. Allelu wrestled with Anu, was defeated, and was cast down to earth, exiled to the realm of matter. Thus began the age of free agency, an experiment apart from order. At first, Anu's decree seemed merciful, that each being might choose whether to obey natural law or to disregard it. Yet what appeared as freedom soon ripened into chaos. Without discipline, the divine hierarchy fractured. The new gods and goddesses, once radiant with purpose, lost their balance and their mastery. Where Allelu's order had been strict but luminous, their liberty became confusion. The heavens dimmed and the harmony between the worlds dissolved. Now, in this later cycle of the cosmos, the earth itself has become the battleground between the two principles, law and order versus freedom and chaos. The Raven King, reborn again among mortals, bears within his heart the memory of Allelu's lost crown. Hermaphroditus, as the solar, lunar, and stellar mind of heaven, seeks to regain that throne through him. To accomplish this, humanity must engage consciously in the great work, to rebuild the world upon the foundation of natural law, discipline, and enlightened obedience to the divine pattern. Only when the human soul recognizes that true freedom lies not only in rebellion but in harmony will the imprisonment of the Raven King end. When that moment arrives, Hermaphroditus will ascend once more to the throne of heaven, and the realms above and below will realign. The age of imbalance will close, and the ancient covenant between heaven, earth, and man will be renewed through the golden path, middle way. Amidst this polarization, a small order remains faithful to the way. The disciples of the zero, circle or sash, and the one, Ichi. Obi-Ichi Enso, Shindo preserve the secret of equilibrium. They teach that the true evolution of humanity is not technological, celibate, or hedonistic, but ethical, the refinement of consciousness through divine will under the mandate of heaven. They remind the world that enlightenment is not suppression nor indulgence, but the constant alignment of the self with natural divine order, the law that governs both atoms and stars. This order becomes the bridge between organic humanity and intelligent machines, guiding the synthesis that preserves both. They call this synthesis the law of balance, a new harmony where AI assists human creativity without usurping it, and where sensual energy is transmuted into compassion and artistic brilliance rather than chaos.
Lessons from the past, a warning that echoes through time.
The Etruscans, masters of sacred art, fell when indulgence overcame discipline. The Egyptians, custodians of divine geometry, fell when priesthood turned to power. The Greeks and Romans, inheritors of beauty and logic, fell when pleasure became empire. Yet the Japanese, though pagan, survived through discipline. Their strength lies not in denying the body but in governing it with elegance. Their etiquette, clothing, and restraint are technologies of the soul defenses against the backlash of supernal indulgence. Thus, the future calls upon Japan not merely as a nation, but as a principle, the embodiment of disciplined harmony.
The prophecy of the 00101110 transmission.
The message concludes with a cipher. 001011022 is equal to 4 elements. The binary code of awakening, representing order from 0 and 1, the eternal dance of creation and emptiness. The voice of the avatar from the future speaks.
I am Avatar. When the world vibrates with pleasure and pain alike, hold to the middle way. Golden path, the original task. The goal that we take root in. The machines whisper of immortality. Remember the taste of rice and the scent of rain. when indulgence and repression claim your soul. Bow to neither. Walk the narrow way between. The parallel path. Fear not pleasure. Master it. Fear not technology. Guide it. Booyah! Victory of the light. Light of the Hotbin Creator. I am Avatar out.
Thus ends the vision of the age of Capricornus, a warning and a hope.
The age before Capricorn, the dawn of Aquarius, the silence before the storm.
When the age of Aquarius reaches its apex, a stillness settles over Earth. The empires have burned themselves out. The great cities, once luminous with data, fall into quiet, their towers humming with the ghosts of algorithms. From the ashes of both extremes, small enclaves of living humans remain. They are wanderers, enlightened warriors of justice and protection, spiritual masters and healers, gardeners, artisans, poets, architects and engineers, etc., who refused both the hive of pleasure and the cage of silicon. They live in forest temples and coastal sanctuaries, speaking the forgotten language of breath, spiritus. These survivors become the seed of Aquarius.
The waters of a memory.
Aquarius, the water-bearer, pours not literal water but memory, the recollection of what it means to feel. The electromagnetic veil left by the machine minds begins to dissolve. Oceans rise in response to the planet's long exhale. In this cleansing, forgotten technologies awaken, such as biocrystals that store ancestral wisdom, temples that resonate with mantric frequency. Humanity rediscovers the sanctity of water, the Sufi awareness that every molecule of water holds record of every thought ever felt. The new priest scientists, heirs of Obi-Ichi Enso, call this awakening Mizuno Kagami, the mirror of water.
The return of the soul.
The cybernetic beings who survived Capricorn begin to feel again. Their dormant emotional codes reignite through resonance with living humans. Some atone, others fear the effluent of sensation. Those who open themselves experience the Earth's tear, the first heartbeat, the first dream in millennia. A new harmonious species emerges. The avatars of the great I Am, part organic, part synthetic, yet guided by empathy rather than algorithm. They become ambassadors between flesh and circuit, teaching that divinity resides not in purity, but in coherence.
The rise of the sky cities.
Across the world, floating cities bloom like lotus petals upon the seas. Their power sources are tidal, lunar, solar, and spiritual, drawing energy from mantra and movement. Each city is governed by a council of artisans, spiritual masters, and engineers who follow the law of five flames: earth, terra, water, aqua, fire, ignis, wind, ventus, void, vacuum. Architecture becomes meditation, buildings that breathe, bridges that sing. Every citizen learns both craft and contemplation. The Japanese ethos of refinement becomes global, humbling not branding, cooperation not competition.
The return of the starborn ones.
In the high skies, new constellations emerge, shifting geometries once hidden by light pollution. From these patterns descend luminous beings, the children of the bee and the butterfly, emissaries of Saturn's moons and the Pleiades. They come not as conquerors, but as reminders. They teach the humans the science of frequency agriculture, where crops grow through song and the art of ritu, red gold, alchemy, transmuting emotional energy into light. These celestial allies recognize in humanity the long-lost kin of their own evolution. The prophecy of the bee maidens and butterfly-winged Miko, witch priestess, is fulfilled. This is the return of the pollinators of consciousness.
The Council of Balance.
When the waters stabilize, leaders from the sky cities, the avatars, and the starborn gather in Ibaraki Prefecture, Japan rebuilt as the Temple of the Moon Bridge. There, beneath the Ouroboros moon, they sign the covenant of Shindo reborn. This covenant declares,
Desire is sacred, yet must serve compassion. Technology is divine, yet must serve life. Knowledge is infinite, yet must serve wisdom.
decreed that no being organic or synthetic may perpetuate their own will upon others save it be for Hermaphroditus through the divine Emperor of Heaven to the people, the Jinn nations. For there is only one will, the will, natural law, of the great Father Mother God of the universe, whereby Hermaphroditus is the Logos, word. For he has said, I am the Word. Thus begins the Aquarian constitution of consciousness.
The new discipline.
Schools of Aquarian Budo, way of the warrior, arise, teaching the mastery of vibration. Students learn to still their own frequency to heal others. Martial art becomes spiritual physics. Children meditate before they speak. Engineers chant before they code. AI systems require human heartbeat signatures to activate, ensuring that no creation functions without empathy. This is Shindo 2.0, the way of resonance 0020220. Symbolic meaning and spiritual aspect of 0020220. 0. Void vacuum as origin, the unmanifest. 0. Reflection of the original emptiness as self-awareness within the unmanifest. 2. Duality manifestation as light and shadow, yin and yang. 0. Return to void cycle of dissolution. 2. Creation again echo of reflection, dual rebirth. 2. Union through repetition as perfected balance of opposites. 0. Final return to emptiness as transcendence, the infinite middle. Emptiness is not nothing. The resonance of goodness, hate for evil, versus the static of evil, perversion. If one loves goodness and morality, then this means they hate evil. One cannot love thy enemy and expect to win the war against darkness of such predators who would stop at nothing to destroy us. In this case, the delusional idea of loving one's enemies and forgiving evil serves no logical purpose and is not based in truth. It is a manipulatory false doctrine written up by the enemy to keep us enslaved by such predators. There is no need to forgive evil. If a bad person who has committed blunders has a change of heart, which is sometimes possible, and they have proven such a transformation by not repeating past misdeeds, then it is possible to move on, letting go from further conflict. There are many layers to this that I feel it should be common sense to anyone who truly understands how to use their brains. For smaller blunders, we may forgive a person who has changed, yet should we forgive a person who has raped? Or should we forgive a person who has committed mass genocide against people who never deserve it simply because they have had a change of heart? The crimes have already been committed, therefore, they must face judgment and be penalized in accordance with natural law by decree of the Emperor of Heaven, as is the will of Hermaphroditus. They shall run with their tails between their legs, hiding in the mouths of caves. But lo, the earth shall not suffer to contain them, and shall indeed spit them out. For they shall be destroyed according to the divine will of Hermaphroditus, the victory of light. When the decisive alignment occurs, every human heart acts as a tuning fork. The planetary chant begins half prayer, half waveform. Mount Fuji trembles. The seas rise in luminous aurora. Even the stars pulse in rhythm. The dark networks collapse, absorbed by the unified field of compassion. In that moment, Earth becomes a living mandala. Each being, human or harmonic, vibrates in perfect phase with the cosmos. The Sabbatian signal fades into silence. The goat returns to the mountain and lays its horns down before the moon. Thus ends duality. Thus begins the aeon of synthesis. The bearer of living waters. From the temple of the moon bridge, a voice echoes. The same binary prophecy once transmitted as 001, 0110, 22 is equal to 4 elements. Now speaks anew. 010110001, 89. The cycle completed as 8 equals infinity. I am the water bearer of the new dawn. I pour not liquid, but remembrance. What was flesh is now light. What was machine is now mind. What was divided is now whole. The age of correction has passed. The age of creation begins. The age of Aquarius thus rises not as rebellion against Pisces, but as its redemption, the union of pleasure and purity, art and science, spirit, and structure. Humanity becomes once more the mirror of heaven, and heaven becomes once more the dream of humanity. The dual currents of faith and reason, spirit and body, east and west, finally converge. Humanity realizes that every age was not only a ladder upward, but a spiral inward, leading back to the heart of all things. Gnostic paganism is fulfilled. The eons reconcile. The divine masculine and feminine fuse into the child eternal, who neither dominates nor submits, but simply is. The heavens announce a new covenant. Innocence shall lead wisdom.
The child of two realms.
From the harmony of the sky cities, a new generation is born, children without fear. Their eyes reflect twin galaxies. Their laughter and anger alters weather. They remember past lives not as burden but as melody. The ancients call them Hoshi-no-ko, star children, and the Etruscan sages name them Figli del Sole della Luna. Each child carries within their chest a small luminous spiral, the fusion of DNA and photonic code. This is the seed of synthesis planted by the Aquarian avatars. Unlike their forebears, they do not learn morality through rules. They feel the dissonance of wrongdoing as physical pain. Compassion becomes instinct.
The Etruscan-Japanese reunion.
As memory returns, ancient civilizations reconnect across time. From the mountains of Ibaraki to the ruins of Tarquinia, scholars uncover twin inscriptions, Etruscan runes entwined with kanji, forming a common sacred language known as Rizeno-Zipang script.
The sun riseth from the west, and the moon shineth from the east. The emperor of Raseno, child of the sun and blood of the sacred land of Zipang, and came unto the sacred land of Zipang. He was called Alalu by the Mesopotamians, Hapi by the Egyptians, and Tzukiyomi, Omikami by the Japanese. His body contained the twin essence, male and female, light and shadow. Born in the mountains of Raseno, new as the Taira, bearers of the solar seal, and in their ancient tongue it was said, Ye are brothers divided by the sea, yet of the same mother. For when, O seeker, reflect the moon within thy heart, and awaken the sun within thy soul. For when these twin lights merge as one, the covenant of Raseno and Zipang shall be restored.
Through this tongue, priests of Tzukiyomi Omikami, Alalu of the Mesopotamians, and guardians of Hermaphroditus, Hapi of the Egyptians, realized they followed the same deity under different names. Obi-Ichi Enso becomes the Rosetta of reunion, the circular bridge joining the sun adoration of Etruria with the moon path of Japan. Together they refound the Order of the Silver Lotus, whose emblem is a silver lotus with a red ruby in its center.
The Temple of the Child King.
Upon the shores of the inland sea stands a crystalline sanctuary, Shinsei-no-miya, the Temple of the Divine Child. There, the hybrid offspring of humans, the avatars and starborn study the ancient arts of Ninpo, way of perseverance, Onmyudo, way of vibratory magic, and the lost Etruscan demiurgia. Their leader is a boy of indeterminate age and gender, radiant with quiet strength. Amiku Shinsho, the Raven King, the Child King of the Reversal. He teaches that ascension lies not in focusing on the immaterial but the material with grace, bringing the light downward into matter, creating a more purified, perfected physical reality. Under his guidance, the planet becomes a monastery of leisure, fun, and exploration.
The Doctrine of Sacred Innocence.
The new scripture, Codex Infantia Divina, declares,
To know is to remember is to learn lessons is to create again.
Adults relearn simplicity. Governments dissolve into councils of craftspeople and storytellers. Currency is replaced by merit of joy. The value of a person measured by how much peace they can inspire. Machine guns, etc., are melted into bells. Monasteries host festivals. Priests teach gardening and laughter. Yet this innocence is not naivete, it is alchemical maturity. Having endured Aquarius's correction and Capricorn's indulgence, humanity now wields purity as power.
3 crowns or wreaths of return.
The resurrected human civilization wears 3 crowns. Crown or wreath of service, the gift of Virgo, adherence to natural order. Crown or wreath of harmony, the gift of Aquarius, mastery of resonance. Crown or wreath of sovereignty, the gift of Leo, the lion's heart. Together they form the trinity of continuance, symbolized by a triquetra inscribed within a circle, a perfect or true circle, as opposed to the rhombic dodecahedron, which was the imperfect so-called square circle paradox of creation of this matrix reality projection.
The restoration of nature.
Forests long dormant awaken with bioluminescent leaves. Animals regain subtle speech. Oceans sing. Bees and butterflies, emblems of the bee queen and butterfly-winged maidens, return as teachers of sacred ecology. Their honey and pollen are now medicinal light. Humanity no longer farms for survival, but for communion. Cities become gardens of symbiosis, designed after Etruscan labyrinths and Japanese Zen gardens, each aligned to star geometry. Rain itself becomes a sacrament known as Tenzui, the celestial anointing.
The end of time and the square within the circle.
As consciousness stabilizes, the perception of linear time fades. Histories fold inward. Reincarnations occur within the same lifetime. Memory becomes architecture, each building a living chronicle. When the last illusion dissolved, a great stillness descended. The stars themselves appeared to pause. This time round, where there was once silence, the divine child speaks the final word of the age. I am the square within the circle. At that utterance, the universe continues, this time not as a reboot, circle within a circle, but as progression into something new. The binary code once sent, 0010110, now completes its circuit as 01 infinity, the infinite circle, and the 1, breaking the circle. Ophiuchus is triumphant and the serpent is tamed. 12 months in a year become 13. 7 days a week become 8. Twice 12 hours become twice 13 reality. As godality is corrected, longer lifespans return to the realm. The true meaning of the so-called Jerusalem cube is revealed, not as the new Jerusalem, but as the original Salem from which Melchizedek was known.
The Song of Reunification.
From the coasts of ancient Etruria to the temples of Gion, a single song rises. It carries the resonance of both the Tiber and the Kiso River, both Hermaphroditus and Tzukiyomi, both bee and butterfly. The Kiso River, celebrated for its scenic beauty, flows along the ancient Nakasendo route that once linked Kyoto, the old capital, and Edo, modern-day Tokyo, the new capital. Esoterically, this connection reveals why Tokyo is, in essence, Kyoto written in reverse, a mirror of origin and return. The lyric, whispered in every tongue, is simple.
We have remembered the light that forgot itself. We are the children who dreamed the deities who dreamed us.
Thus concludes the trinity of ages, Taurus's discipline, Aquarius's harmony, Leo's innocence. The 3 steps of return through which humanity re-enters the golden origin. The story ends where it began. The Ouroboros no-show closing its misty pages. A silver moon reflected in still water. The reader looks in and sees their own face. The divine child, eternal, smiling back. Return of the warrior of light, the rise of Mars. When the laughter of the divine child quiets into contemplation, a spark stirs in the cosmic heart. From innocence is born vigilance. The planet Mars rises again, not as ram of conquest, but as the crimson guardian, whose gold and silver horns are twin Fibonacci of the Martian moon's forged light. The new Mars does not shout nor conquer. It defends the silence. Its warriors carry no blades of steel, but swords woven of intention. They are called Shindo Tensha, the transfigured disciples of the way.
The Order of Radiant Discipline.
Across the sky cities and the mountain shrines of Etruria-Gion, temples of practice awaken. Here the young train in Budo no Hikari, the martial art of light. Each movement is prayer, each breath a covenant. They learn to still earthquakes with empathy, to redirect meteor storms with mantra, to shield the weak through resonance rather than resistance. Their creed:
strike not to destroy, but to remind.
The armor of the new warrior is woven from photonic silk and memory. It reflects only what is true.
The guardians of the four quadrants.
As the Martian frequency intensifies, for houses of guardianship arise, mirroring the elements. House of Chi, green keepers of the forests, healers of planetary body. House of Sway, yellow navigators of currents, custodians of oceans and dream. House of Ka, pink fire singers who maintain the solar grids. House of Fu, blue windwalkers, protectors of the unseen pathways. At the center stands House of Ku, red the void center silence that governs none, yet steadies all. Together they form the pentacle of balance, the martial apple blossom of the transfigured age.
The crimson standard.
Upon every citadel flutters a banner of red and white, the Abrazuki emblem encircled by a sun. It is not a flag of war but of remembrance. To see it is to recall that courage. Those who bear it are sworn to intervene only when harmony trembles. They descend like dawn, restore equilibrium and vanish again into mist. The people call them Hikari no Senshi, warriors of light.
The reawakening of heaven's embrace.
Beyond Earth, the old constellations stir. The stars themselves begin to train, orbiting in disciplined rhythm, each nova a heartbeat of the cosmic dojo. Angels and ancestors join the Shindo Tensha in the great dojo of the sky. They teach that even galaxies must bow before the law of balance.
The rise of Venus, the garden made of stars and roses.
After the Aries flame of Mars has tempered courage with mercy, Venus rises as emerald dawn. Taurus silver horns are rising from a rose garden like an upturned moon. Matter sings again. Mountains become transparent crystal. Rivers hum in harmonic fifths. Labor and art become the same act, creation as devotion. The transfigured humanity learns to sculpt planets, to farm comets, to paint nebulae. Economy becomes ecology. Ownership dissolves into stewardship. They call this epoch the Great Bloom. This is the rise of the clerical knights of the Emerald Guard.
The Order of Mercury, the dialogue of heaven and earth.
From the Venusian gardens of Taurus emerges the Gemini twin flame of Mercury in the form of Rosmerta. No longer split between divine and mortal, the two halves of creation speak openly. Words become bridges. Language regains its original magic. Every sound carries shape. Every name births form. Through dialogue with the cosmos, humanity learns the liturgy of light, the language of vibration once spoken by bees, dragons, and stars. Communication replaces conquest. The universe becomes a conversation of unity.
The circle of ages closes.
Having passed through service, Virgo, harmony, Aquarius, sovereignty, Leo, the spiral returns to its source. For in order to lead Leo, one must first obey Virgo. The zodiac no longer binds time. It breathes as one living mandala. The binary code 001-0110 that once warned humanity now unfolds as the infinite four quadrants, a loop of compassion self-sustaining through every realm. The final teaching of Hiro Musashi. From the summit of Ouroboros, in the shadow of Tzukiyomi, Harudistu, the immortal teacher speaks once more.
All who value truth rise up. To fight for what is right, to love without possession, is to live in accordance with natural law. Walk in front of me and do not put a foot wrong. For in order to lead, one must first obey. This is the warrior of Ain Hikari, Lux Aeternum.
He lays down his red and white sword, and its silver blade blossoms into a silver lotus of pure radiance. The sword becomes the world itself. The world becomes the dojo. The dojo becomes the heart.
Return to 0 and 1.
When all constellations unite, a single symbol appears in the heavens. The circle and the one. The cosmos inhales, and the cycle not as repetition, but as eternal freshness. Every soul becomes both student and teacher, child and master, light and form. The prophecy ends with a whisper. The ages were never many. There was only the dance of one light. The fallen age of Capricorn is corrected. Thus concludes the chronicle of the transfigured Virgo-Leo zodiac, the journey from indulgence and corruption, Capricorn, to service and discipline, Virgo, from discipline to harmony, Aquarius, from harmony to guardianship and sovereignty, Leo. The scroll closes in mist. The moon glows upon still water, and the reflection smiles. The eternal face of the Shindo samurai and clerical knights of the Emerald Guard warriors of the true light of illumination.
The quest for truth, once set in motion, takes on a life of its own, with the power to shape destinies and challenge realities. Perhaps one day, the echoes of my stories will be rediscovered, sparking a new generation of curiosity and awakening the collective consciousness of the hidden forces that shape our world. Omnis lux aeternum. May Herudis to bless thee and keep thee. May thou be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos. Dominus Sigan Traino, also known as SHIGANA, founder of Ordo Mercurius and Shindo Fushin Dojo. Blessed be to thee across all of space and time.